Hello everybody, today we're going to compare two very popular saxophones from P.Mauriat, the Bravo and the wonderful Grand Dreams, modelled here, Alto and Tenor. What do they sound like? How do they differ? Stick around to find out. Hello everybody, I'm here with Mr. Preston Cummins. Preston, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you so much.
Hey, it's a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to this because Preston, not only is he a wonderful saxophone player, he's a big P.Mauriat fan, and he's going to help us find out the differences between the Bravo and the Grand Dreams. Both of them are priced very similarly. There are physical differences in how they look, but we're going to put them through the paces. We're going to play them over some blues, we're going to play them over some funk, and we're going to talk about the fact they might be also pretty good for classical and grade type playing as well. So we're going to get into that. And my colleague Abby in the workshop is going to dive into all the technical specs. What makes up the P.Mauriats, what's good about them, things to watch out for, etc. So let's get into the playing of the altos. And what we're going to do, Preston's going to blow over blues on the Grand Dreams and he's going to do the same on the Bravo. So you can hear a little bit of the character of the instruments and then we'll get Preston's thoughts. But before we do that, I just want to say subscribe to the channel if you're watching. We appreciate it, but hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Cool. All right, Preston, let's hear a little bit of the Grand Dreams doing some blues. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
sounds great.
It plays great.
Well, let's see what the Bravo does.
Thanks guys. So today we're comparing the Bravo versus the Grand Dreams P.Mauriat. I've got the altos in front of me here. First things first, I'm going to talk about the base metals. Both of these instruments have the same body metal. They're both made of gold brass. The difference then comes in what comes next. So the Bravo has yellow brass keywork and it has a nickel silver crook, whereas the Grand Dreams is all gold brass. Obviously, we've got various lacquers and finishes on top of them. So you've got the satin, brushed satin finish on top of the gold brass body of this instrument, which also has a layer of clear lacquer, giving it this lovely kind of, it's like a candied, like iridescent effect, which I just really enjoy that finish. Hand engraving on the nickel silver crook as well. Just a little aside, another little aesthetic choice that they've made there. The Grand Dreams is all made of gold brass keys, body, crook, but it's got this lacquer that they're calling cognac, which is like a really cool vintage dark lacquer. This complements the dark pearls really well. They've gone for like black pearls on the Grand Dreams, whereas you've got just abalone, mother of pearl on the Le Bravo. Both of them feel really lovely and cool to the touch. That's another kind of nice kind of tactile choice that they've made here. One of the other big comparable things is the ergonomics. So the Le Bravo is already very well known for its ergonomics. It's very kind of comfortable under the fingers. It's got a nice smooth action. It's got some nice little options like a light cutaway on the octave mechanism and a nice light springing. Whereas the Grand Dreams, they've changed everything. They've brought your hands in a lot. They've remapped kind of the ergonomic design of the alto and the tenor on this model to make it more compact. And they've shortened the palm keys right down so that your hands can come right in, and they've reduced the travel on a lot of things, including the octave key. So one of the biggest differences between these, I mean, not only do they look really different, they're going to feel really different under the fingers. They both have the Super 6 crook. This is one of Mauriat's kind of biggest things that people are kind of talking about, is the Super 6 crook. Is obviously a little nod to one of the most popular vintage horns of a similar name, and people will buy these to kind of boost their vintage instruments, or to kind of give an additional sound, or maybe to replace a damaged crook on a vintage instrument, for example, because they are very, very similar in design, in shape, in bore, and in response to that very popular vintage model. So there's a lot to it. A lot of it's aesthetic, a lot of it's completely invisible and structural, and the only way that you're going to be able to feel that is by putting them in your hands. So one more thing that I just wanted to mention as well is we've talked before in videos about ribbed saxophone design and what that means, the difference between kind of ribbed and non-ribbed. Both of these instruments have what's called a semi-ribbed design, which is where you've got kind of the best of both worlds. So you've got a little bit of weight added here and there, a little bit of strength added here and there, but they've been very deliberate about where they choose to do that in order to give you certain responses in different registers throughout the instrument. Okay, so a quick mention about the cases that these instruments come with. So there's a range of cases that you can get with the P.Mauriat instruments. This is the one that we've got with the Le Bravo model. This is like a standard kind of square wooden fabric outer case, loads of storage, really generous with the storage, the pockets. You've got little pen pockets in there, and it's like a lovely fluffy molded design on the inside. They come with the standard kind of plastic P.Mauriat mouthpiece. If you're at this point where you're investing in one of these instruments, you probably have a mouthpiece setup that you already know and love very well, but if you don't, you could just buy one of these and play it out of the box. It comes with reeds, ligature, pull through, sling, all of the above, all of the normal stuff that you might expect. Even the sling has this like lovely cushioned air pocket design, which I think is really interesting and fun. Backpack straps, obviously, it's geared towards someone who's going to be taking this instrument out and about. It's very strong, lightweight, soft, and with plenty of storage. So the end cap, very, very important. So that is the Le Bravo. So if I just show you the Grand Dreams, has a slightly more contoured case. So obviously it's a bit shaped, but again, it's got a similar wooden frame fabric outer, zips and Velcro. Very kind of fluffy, cushiony, lovely plush inside, room for the crook, room for the mouthpiece. Again, comes with all of the kit that you might expect to get you started. Loads of storage on the outside. Yeah, it's a lovely compact case. It's a little bit neater. But you can get hard ABS cases with some of these as well. And yeah, any of the above is going to protect your instrument very, very nicely and give you plenty of storage. It's not one of these situations where you get a case and then you have to buy a separate bag to keep all of your stuff in. It's an all-in-one, and it's really, really strong. So yeah, really lovely to compare them both, and we'll see if there's a winner for Preston in the studio.
Sounds great.
Yeah, man.
So this is our Bravo tenor, hot off the funk.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with the tenors, Preston?
Sure.
Because actually it'd be interesting to know as well if you feel if you have a preference between one or the other, dependent on the character, because tenor has a different character generally.
Yeah.
We look for different things in alto, don't we?
Yeah.
So we've heard the tech spec from Abby, and obviously there are aesthetic differences, but some of the tech. But from a playing point of view, how do you feel between these two? Any particular thoughts and feelings?
I do feel this one just mechanically, like as I run through the keys, this one just feels a little more solid. Like you can feel they put a little more time onto this one. Both mechanically feel great. So I'm not, the Grand Dreams, I'm not bringing that down at all. Actually, this is the first time playing the Grand Dreams, and I'm surprised by it. It's beautiful horn. So I just never had the opportunity to play it. Bravo I have played over several years now, and all the way soprano, all the way down to baritone, and it's a great option, great horn, very solid. It's got some good weight to it. You can really lay into these horns, and they take it. So
yeah, you mentioned about the weight. It does feel a little heavier.
It does.
The
Yes.
Bravo.
Yes.
It has the nickel silver neck as well, which maybe adds a little bit of power because feels like there's a tiny bit more bite.
Yeah,
in that.
a
Is
little
that
more
fair
bite.
to say?
Yes. And
Yeah.
I felt on the alto as well. There's just a little more edge to it
On the
so,
Bravos.
So if you're kind of getting into that, even jazz, but if you want to get into kind of like a funk or rock setting, and maybe you're not doing any classical, then this could be a really great option. It's got a lot of bite. It's a really solid horn. Feels great. Yeah.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments between what you heard. You mentioned there about the classical. Let's pick up on that on the altos, Preston.
Yes.
Because obviously, when a lot of the demonstrations we do on saxophone, we tend to lean more towards the jazz, the pop, the funk, the blues. But there are a lot of people playing graded saxophone or in concert bands even, or the
Yes.
classical repertoire, which there is much now.
Yes.
Are you happy to give us a quick blow on the alto maybe
Yes,
from
yes.
that alto
Yes.
classical point of view? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice little demonstration.
Yeah.
And so we've shown there the different shades of character we can get from these. Would you say that the Grand Dreams perhaps leans a bit more towards that than the Bravo by its character or not?
Well, I know P.Mauriat's been one to dig in. They kind of came in, when they first came out, they came out as a professional, kind of almost like a custom build. And they wanted to come with that first and then move on into, I know they wanted to dig more into the student line. And so when the Grand Dreams came out, this was a option that is hitting the student market, maybe an upgrade from a student horn. Yeah. But you have all the professional qualities. You have a very well built instrument. You can just grab it. You know how sometimes you can grab a student horn and you can feel that there's just less stuff on it, right? And it's got and just the weight, everything. You can just tell that they're cutting back, if you will, right? Yeah. So and this one's very, very well made. You can feel the mechanics in it. You can see that it's been well put together. It's beautifully made. It looks beautiful. So and it sounds fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
I can say the layout is very slightly different, isn't it? It's a little more compact.
It is
than the Bravo. It feels a little smaller under the hands, so to speak.
Yeah.
But comfortable still. But maybe if you had smaller hands as well, that would be more suitable.
No, it definitely. I could see the smaller build there, and the palm keys. I noticed the palm keys are a little, maybe slightly lower.
Yeah.
But it's still for an adult. This is still comfortable. I can get to everything very comfortably. So. To smaller feel horns, this does not feel like a tiny horn or a small horn. Yeah.
So, Cool. Well, I think if you're in the market for an upgrade generally, the Le Bravos and the Grand Dreams are a really good place to start.
Yeah.
Very similarly priced. You may have a preference on which you prefer in the look. Let us know in the comments. Obviously, this is kind of cognac lacquer versus the matte and the nickel silver on the Le Bravos. But hopefully you've heard today a little bit of the differences on them. Any other thoughts, Preston, just before we wrap up?
Just on this one, getting back to it has all the professional stuff. You have high F sharp. I can already tell, that it has really good tuning, and it characteristically up in the low range versus high range. Classically, it's getting that professional quality sound. So it has a very nice open ring to it, very easy to play, and yeah.
It's very even. There's no change in tonal character around that GAB area, which an F can be quite a change character-wise, can't it, on a lot of instruments. And
fantastic.
Most of that is his control as well.
I know.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Preston, for joining us.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you along. Thank you for watching. Make sure you stay subscribed, and we'll see you again very soon.